The annual Lloyd Fair kicks off tomorrow and brings in more to see and do this year than in years prior. With over 10 new attractions to enjoy, West Coast Amusements is back to put on another show for the city.
We're super excited because we have a bunch of new rides here, and yeah, I mean, I haven't been here myself probably in 15 years, so it's my first year back, but super stoked to be here.
With tons more new things to experience, it keeps people coming back year after year.
I mean, as far as I can remember back, we've been coming here. I was, just a kid coming to the fair and running around playing with water balloons, and yeah, I mean, we love coming to Lloyd. It's a great community, and it's a great fair.
The Lloyd Fair is set to start at 11 a.m. tomorrow and go until 11 p.m. The fair goes until Saturday. The 2021-22 Lloydminster U13 Female Blazers have donated $90,000 towards creating accessibility features in the Cenovus Energy Hub. The team won the Good Deeds Cup 2 years ago. The cup is presented to the minor hockey team in Canada, which does the most to drive change in their community. The U13 Blazers were the first female team to win that award.
These girls kind of learn from being timid girls in a hockey dressing room or on a hockey bench into being in front of the camera, speaking for the disabled and really fighting for what's right. And what's next for me is just me watching these girls continue to grow and be leaders in their community, in their province, and in their country. The sky's the limit for them.
Winning the cup and the prize money allows the team to create even more change in the community. They have decided to use their winnings to make sure the yet-to-be-completed Cenovus Energy Hub will be usable for those with physical disabilities.
So it's not only about the dollar amount that comes into our community and helps the Cenovus Energy Hub to be accessible and inclusive. To me, it was, and our organization, it was the bigger picture around creating an inclusive community, an accessible community, and a community where everybody feels a sense of belonging.
With the donation now official, the team will get to see how their good deeds have left a positive impact on the whole community. It's a nearly 1,300-kilometer long run, and it will take 28 days. But runner Kagan Neen is doing it for a good cause, to support the Lloydminster Men's Shelter. Our Lane Hoffert has more.
Well, today I'm joined by Kagan Neen, who will be running 1,279 kilometers to raise money for the Lloydminster Men's Shelter. Can you tell me a little bit about the run?
Yeah, so it's our first capital campaign that we've done for the Lloydminster Men's Shelter. I just started with the company actually in March, and one of my mandates was to find a new location and expand our services, because there's a significant need for more housing solution for the unhoused individuals in our community. So the only way we could do that, obviously, is to do a capital fundraising campaign. So talked to the board of directors, got the approval, and yeah, so I'm going to be running from the BC-Alberta border, so just west of Jasper, so DeCoyne, Alberta, all the way to just east of Yorkton, so Roxton, Saskatchewan. So about 1,279 after all of the pit stops. It's going to be just over 1,300 kilometers, and hoping to do it in about 25 days.
Awesome. And what kind of inspired you to want to run and run for the shelter or whatever? Yeah.
So it's kind of a play on words. A lot of clients are obviously looking for shelter solutions as an emergency shelter. But the other thing is I'm passionate about running. I like marathons, half marathons. So I have a corporate background, so I switched over to the nonprofit space when joining the Lloydminster Men's Shelter. And so to put my two passions together, I love what I do, working for the clients and trying to build better community relationships along with my passion for running. So amalgamate the two of them together and see what we can do to get a new building.
Awesome. And what can people do to help you guys out, and where can they go to donate?
So you can go to donate at www.lloydminstershelter.com. We're also looking for corporate sponsors, so any companies that are looking at getting their logo and their brand. We're going to have a pilot vehicle with a trailer actually being pulled behind, and it'll have the branding for any of the corporate sponsors as well. they can reach out to myself at the men's shelter, or my email is hfa.lloydminster@gmail.com to partake in that way. So yeah, you can donate directly online. If you go to lloydminstermenshelter.com, it's got the links in regards to the donation pages and all of the information there as well.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Yeah, thank you, Kagan, for coming on and telling us about this run. Make sure to go and donate to support the men's shelter. And thanks a lot.
Wainwright will once again be playing host to a celebrity hockey game featuring some elite NHL talent who originated from the Lakeland area. Our Thomas Wildman has more.
Today we're talking about the Wainwright Celebrity Hockey Game, and I'm joined today by Adam Huxley, one of the organizers for the game, and Carson Soucy, who's originally from Irma, Alberta, but is now playing for the Vancouver Canucks as a defenseman. He's going to be playing for one of the teams in the game, and so thank you so much for both of you for joining me today.
Yep, thanks for having me.
And so you guys have been running this event for a number of years. Where did the idea for the event come from, and what is the main goal of the event?
Last year, we didn't have it. It was just a weird year. All our guys were hurt and stuff, all the big guys. So this year is our first year back after a year off. But we've been having it. It started out as a fun thing when we had the ice in Irma, and ever since we've had the ice in Wainwright, we've had it here. We've had up to like 1,500 fans, 2,000 fans, one or two times. It's been amazingly attended. We've worked really closely with the Rotary. Before it was for the CT scanner. Now it's for our all seasons park. They're building. So in the winter, it'll be fully boards, glass, all that kind of stuff. In the summer, it'll be pickleball courts, basketball court. I think there's a volleyball court, badminton. So it's just amazing to have. I didn't have it when I was a kid, and the Rotary just keeps putting things in that we didn't have a kid. They put the splash park in. They've done so much for the community. CT scanner. This is just one more unreal thing they're doing.
Huge to show just kind of how it's grown, especially over these last couple of years, that once we have the facility and we have the ice here, that it can really grow the game in this area, where obviously hockey was a huge part beforehand, but now that everyone can kind of skate and everyone can kind of see the progress that's been made by professional hockey players, college hockey players, Western League players in this area, I think it's just a confidence for young kids that's saying they can start in these small towns, and then whether it's just start getting a scholarship or play competitive and then pro hockey. I think it's really good for kids coming from small towns and around this area.
And Adam, you mentioned the Rotary, but what other causes are you guys going to be raising money for at the upcoming game?
Kids sport's been awesome. So we have a puck toss. You'll be able to win some prizes. We should have some silent auction items also to support them. And then our 50-50 is guaranteed $2,000. Someone's taking home $2,000. The rest goes to the Rotary. The bar is put on by the Wrestlers and the Bisons, two teams here. With all the proceeds going to our long-term manager who got lung cancer, got a young family, stuff like that, Travis Hall. And then obviously people in Lloyd would be aware of Team Peyton, which is Peyton Walker. And so the other money will go to them as they go through their treatment. While you have all those needs financially.
I mean, obviously when you get to play for a good cause, I think the chance to bring people in to do that is great. Just kind of get as many people there as you can, raise as much money as you can. It's going to a good cause. I think when they get that project done, it'll be another stepping stone for just growing sport and competitiveness in this area, and that's just such a great thing for this community.
Taking a look at the lineups for both of the teams, this looks like a fantastic game to watch. How exciting for you, Carson, as well is it to be playing with such great players?
I think it just, like I said, goes to show that even the connections you make while playing competitive hockey, we've kind of brought a lot of those back, and people are willing to come to this area and for a good cause. I think our team looks pretty good. I've always had to go against Bobby, and I never really liked that. He's one of the faster guys out there, so it'll be nice to have him on my team this year.
This might be one of the best, unless someone's had an NHL exhibition game. This will probably be one of the best lineups you'll see. And super competitive every year. The guys, They come out, you'd think that they're just coming out for a Sunday stroll. It gets pretty competitive. We went to overtime 3 out of the 5 times. So, but yeah, I know some of these guys brought their buddies. So Zach Benson had an incredible year last year, played as an 18-year-old. Jake Neighbors played it as a 20-year-old. He's really good. He had like 20 goals last year for St. Louis. And then obviously we have Bobby McMahon, who obviously put himself on the map last year with the Maple Leafs. And then we have Carson Soucy, who obviously, through the Edmonton series, gained some popularity. And then Mason Shaw, everyone loves Shawzy. Amazing. But then we have like the Furcus Circus. I mean, I don't even need to tell you how many awards he won this year. Matt Savoy, Cole Reshny, local kid Connor McLennan. He plays for U of A now, but also had 100 points. Scott Ratzlaff, which is Carson's cousin, who trains here. He's a goalie, played World Juniors, drafted by Buffalo. I mean, I can go on and on. Every player in here has had a lot of success. As far as down to Teague McAllister, a Lloyd kid who obviously plays for the Bobcats. So we got a lot of talent in this lineup.
And finally, when and where is the event going to be taking place?
Game time, 7 p.m., warm up 6:30. Come early. There's usually a pretty good line, so you might miss the start. Got an intros, got Dom St. Amon from the rodeo circuit doing the announcing. Got a lot of activities. In between periods, we have Wainwright versus Irma, some young kids from U9 to U13. I mean, there's just lots and lots of stuff happening. But most importantly, it's all for a good cause. 3 and under will be free. I didn't have, that's not on the poster, but then after that, everything is a donation, obviously to Rotary, that $10. Come, you won't find a better game. I know it's early in the summer, but if you're looking for something to do on a Wednesday, there's kids from your area, I'll guarantee, because there's kids from all over the areas here. It's amazing. Please come down and support.
Thank you both so much for joining me today, and I know it's going to be a fantastic game, especially when we haven't had hockey for so long here, to enjoy a game like this in the summer.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Abby St. John is back at Border Paws Animal Shelter for our weekly edition of Pet Project.
I'm back at Border Paws Animal Shelter for our weekly edition of Pet Project, and today we have a handsome boy named Goatee. He loves attention from what I've seen, and he kind of just likes doing his own thing. So tell me a little bit about his personality, his story, how he came to be, and what his perfect fit would be.
So we approximate his age at about 4.5 years old. Goatee came to us as a stray from Bylaw. He's been here since May, about the middle of May. Very friendly cat. He's super spunky, loves to play, very curious. Not a huge fan of other cats, but still very affectionate, very playful. Just, he has to check everything out. This cat is also what I call a food goblin. So we can't leave the cat, like they come out to play, we'll let them take turns coming out to roam around so they're not trapped in their kennels. And if we have cans of food, even if they're covered, he will try to get them and get into them.
So definitely don't leave your food unattended, is what you're saying.
Have a covered garbage can, because he likes to play in the garbage can to look at the cans and stuff. Yeah, 100% little food goblin, but so much love, just so affectionate, so playful, just a really sweet boy.
And he's good with kids.
Yeah, he's good with everybody that comes in to play with him. Just it'd be better if he's in a single pet household. Just not the biggest fan of other cats.
And has he been tested with dogs, or is that just something that maybe...
That's something people can definitely bring a pet in, and we can set up meet and greets. It's less likely with cats and dogs, especially if they haven't grown up together, but that's not, get your own toys. That's not saying it wouldn't be possible, but less likely.
Well, he is very cute, and he definitely would fill the household for sure.
Oh,
definitely doesn't need, you wouldn't need another pet when you have him around for sure. Now, this weekend, there's a few events, a couple events that we're going to talk about. Starting on Sunday, this weekend, there is a barbecue at Pet Planet.
Yes, the Pet Planet parking lot. We're going to be having our 3rd annual Cars, Cats, and Dogs show. There's going to be a barbecue, but also a little car show put on by the Lloyd Motor Club. And Superstore graciously donated gift cards to us so we could get the food and beverages for this event. So we're pretty excited, and just huge shout out to everybody for helping to make it possible. And we're hoping it's going to be as successful, if not more, than last year.
Now, it's happening at the Pet Planet parking lot. What time is it going on till?
So it'll be from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m.
And it's this Sunday?
Sunday the 14th, yeah.
And then starting the next day, PetSmart is having their week-long adoption event, which is you guys take part in every year. It's a huge event that PetSmart puts on. So give us a little bit more information on your guys' involvement and what people should know for the Lloyd location.
So every year we do have our week-long PetSmart adoption event, which does really well, and we're hoping that, again, we can do as good as we did last year with currently having over 40 kittens in our care between the shelter and between the foster. We definitely just want to find them the best homes possible. So there'll be lots of cats there. We'll have some dogs there. Just come on down any day during the week, and maybe you'll find a new best friend.
Yes, I'm always excited about those events because you guys do get a lot of numbers out, and especially when you have those numbers high, like you said, so many kittens. They're adorable, but there's a lot that are now going. We were talking earlier. They are up for a foster or to get rehomed. They're getting up into that age for sure. Now donations. You are speaking on the kittens.
Yes.
You are desperately in need of some kitten food.
Kitten food. We're running very, very low on kitten food, and we do provide the food to the animals that are in our foster care system as well. So lots of kittens. We're really low on the dry and the wet. Hydrolyzed protein food for dogs. We do have one, Petunia, who has the special diet. Again, the Stronger Kong toys, peanut butter. We're still looking for fans and poop bags for the dogs because they're messy.
Yes,
and like
for
to
sure.
clean up outside.
Yes, and when you take them for walks as well, that's always a necessity as well. Now, I guess as kind of an incentive for the adoption week and for you guys having so many numbers, the month of July, you guys are holding a sale on your adoption fees. So break down those numbers for us and what those sales will be.
So for the entire month of July, all of our adoptions are 40% off. So puppies, which are normally around $500, are now $3. We have a guinea pig who would only be about $24. The kittens are also marked 40% down. So a little bit more of an incentive, because that's a lot of the problem is a lot of people can't really afford, but at the same time, like they're microchipped, vaxxed, they're spayed, so you do save money by adopting from a shelter, and does help kind of give all these guys a better chance at life rather than being stuck in the kennels.
Exactly, and sometimes that cost is really the only thing that's stopping somebody from adopting. But like you said, all those other extra fees, like the spay and neuter, the microchipping, all those extra fees that you would have to pay, they're already covered or they're already done if they've been there for as long as they have. So that's awesome, and it's always nice having like a little summer sale too, and around your adoption event. Is perfect. So hopefully that helps, and hopefully that event goes well. And Goatee, I think he's just enjoying his little taste of freedom today. So he's just been roaming around, and I think he definitely would make a family a very happy home.
He's very cheap to entertain. He went and got himself a pipe cleaner, and he's just having a blast with it.
Exactly. He's like one of the kids who just likes the box instead of the toy.
Right.
You know, he's very simple to please. He's very simple to please.
Full of energy.
So thank you again for joining me, and Goatee, thank you for that burst of personality at the end.
Thank you.
It is time now to have a look at all of the pet pictures you've been sharing with us for our Pets of the Day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
Saskatchewan storm chaser is expecting the coming weeks to be busy. I talked to the Saskatchewan storm expert about the summer season.
I'm here today talking with Jenny Hagan, and she is a severe weather expert. And you are actually based sort of in, I guess, the tornado central down there in Saskatchewan, in Etonia. Can you tell me a little bit about what this season has been like so far for our region?
Well, it has definitely been a bit busier of a season. We've seen an early start to our storm season, especially after our record low amount of storms we had last year due to that drought cycle. So we only had one single tornado last year. So by far, this year seems quite a bit more active.
I understand that that is mainly due to the fact that we've had so much moisture up to this point, and so that is spawning a little bit more of the activity that we see that goes hand in hand with those severe storms.
Yes, you need moisture to fuel moisture. So we need that moisture base there, especially within the crops. And once those crops start maturing, they send those that moisture back up into the atmosphere, and that's what actually fuels a lot of our storms, especially in the prairies.
What prompted me to get in touch with you was actually just the number of social media posts that I had been seeing, people's pictures, videos of things that have happened so far. Can you tell me how many tornadoes and storms that have spawned tornadoes are we seeing so far?
Well, we've seen numerous amount of tornado warnings early in the season this year. I can't count offhand how many, but there has been quite a few. I think probably 24 or so, and a lot of severe warnings. We've seen 3 confirmed tornadoes this year in Saskatchewan so far. 2 more are being investigated from a couple weeks ago, and there's a possible another 4 that touched down near the Melville area yesterday.
Sorry about that. So from what I understand, there hasn't really been much involvement on, like, say, farms and in towns or anything that caused a great amount of damage. It's just been, so far they've been spotty in around the areas.
Yes, typically here on the prairies, we're lucky enough that our population is spread out. So it doesn't hit populated areas very often. And that's actually why our tornadoes are usually rated lower, because the ES system is based on structural damage at this moment. And there is a research group, Northern Tornado Project, that's actually looking at factoring in crop health into assessing tornado strength in Saskatchewan. But we've seen a little bit of damage to some towns. Gravelburg, they're investigating that as a possible tornado at the moment, and a roof was ripped off a building there. So we're seeing a little bit of damage, but in general, a lot of it's to cropland, especially with hail. Estevan area saw just about softball size hail there with those tornadic storms.
Now, the pictures that I had seen, they were probably golf ball sized, and they sort of ranged in shape. So I don't know what that means, but probably something to do with the upper atmosphere. And I know that next week we're going to start seeing some really, really high temperatures. And I understand the humidex is going to be going up as well. And so I guess you're probably going to be fairly busy in the next little while with the storms.
Yeah, the models are kind of trending towards seeing some active outbreaks happening on the prairies. And with that heat packing in, you definitely got a lot more evaporation happening, which tends to fuel our storm season. And July is our peak season here in the Canadian prairies.
Now, I guess it depends how hot we do, how high the temperatures do get up to. Do you think it could be, I guess, especially compared to last year with the very slight season that we had, could it be a fairly serious season that we're looking at going ahead?
I think every year usually brings some serious threats to the prairies, and it's not just tornadoes itself. I've seen amazing damage from things like plow winds that can actually rip structures apart just as bad as tornadoes. And hail is extremely dangerous as well as lightning to people. So you really need to encourage people to pay attention to warnings and watches, because it's not something that you want to be trapped outdoors in when it hits. You've got golf balls falling from the sky. you can end up with concussions and stuff from that. So you need to take these warnings seriously.
And I guess as well, after having sort of a low season last year, not that many tornadic events, we might be a little bit lulled into thinking that this year's going to be the same and maybe not take those watches and warnings as seriously.
Yes, and I know a lot of people too with the way our warning system works in Canada. The warning area is actually quite widespread, which means there might be a few towns that aren't exactly in the track of the tornado that do get warned, just the way our warning system works. So that can sometimes make people think, well, we got the tornado warning last time and nothing happened.
Yeah, you don't want to get complacent because it could always hit, right? And I guess that's the other note. If you do get a watch or warning on your phone, what I guess should you do right away?
Watches now in generally are just kind of a heads up that severe weather might be possible in your area. And I just let the dog quit barking here for a second. But I generally do it on it's like a boiling pot of water. And you've got all your ingredients in there, but it's a matter of, predicting where that first bubble is going to pop in the pot. And that's very difficult. So with the watches, it's just more or less, should be aware that severe weather is possible. With warnings, that's when people need to really pay attention to what's happening. Get indoors as soon as possible if you're within that warning area, so you're not injured from hail or lightning. There's the old saying, when thunder roars, go indoors, because lightning kills 2 to 3 Canadians a year and injures many, many more. So that's something we need to be aware of. And for tornado warnings, to get into your house immediately, down into the basement if you have it. And if you don't have a basement, make sure you're in the most interior room of your house with no windows.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Coming up after the break, Abby St. John will take an extended look at our weather forecast.
Welcome back. We're taking a look at current temperatures in Alberta and Saskatchewan. We're sitting at 31 here in Lloydminster. We are under a heat warning. All of Alberta is, and the majority of Saskatchewan as well. But currently in Alberta, 31 also out in Rocky Mountain House, 29 in Red Deer, 33 in Cold Lake, Edmonton and Edson, 34 in Athabasca and Jasper, and 32 out in Whitecourt. And in Saskatchewan, Meadow Lake is sitting at 30 degrees, 29 in North Battleford, Prince Albert's and Saskatoon, and 27 out in Melfort. And then up north in Saskatchewan, hot as well, 28 in Uranium City and Wollaston Lake, 29 in Stony Rapids, Losh and Buffalo Narrows, and 27 out in Flin Flon. And in Alberta, 32 out in Fort Mac and Slave Lake, also out in Peace River, 33 in Grand Prairie. Slave Lake and Fort Mac just changed to 33 as well, 32 in Fort Chipewyan, and 35 out in High Level. Down south in Alberta, 31 out in Coronation, Banff, and in Lethbridge, 29 in Calgary, and 32 out in Medicine Hat. And in Saskatchewan down south, 30 out in Kindersley and in Swift Current, 29 in Moose Jaw and Regina, 27 in Yorkton, and 30 out in Estevan. Now, the heat warning is in the majority of Saskatchewan, but Yorkton and Estevan are not currently in that, but definitely keep track of Environment Canada for those alerts, as it could possibly turn into a heat warning. Overnight tonight in North Battleford will drop down to 15, mainly clear, 13 km/h wind, so it should be a nice evening out. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake will also drop down to 15, mainly clear as well, 9 km/h wind, so it is going to be a nice evening out, nice and warm. And then overnight tonight across the region, 18 degrees in Meadow Lake and in Bonnyville, 16 in Provost, 20 in Isla Cross, and 15 out in Paradise Hill. So nice evening out tonight. More overnight temperatures, 18 in Murnum, 15 in Pierceland and in Unity, 16 in Wainwright, and 17 out in Calgary. So majority of the region, we're going to have a very warm evening out here in Lloydminster as well. 17 will be our overnight temperature, mainly clear, 15-kilometer-per-hour wind, so it's going to be a nice evening out. And then over the next 7 days here in the Border City, for tomorrow, a daytime high of 34 and a low of 18. It will be very nice and sunny. On Thursday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 31 and a low of 14. On Friday, we cool off just a tiny bit with a high of 26 and a low of 13. And then on Saturday, we have a 62% chance of a few showers, mostly cloudy with a high of 24 and a low of 13. On Sunday, mostly sunny with a high of 27 and a low of 14. High of 27 also on Monday, past the weekend, 61% chance of a few afternoon storms, high of 27 and a low of 15. And on Tuesday, very warm and plenty of sun with a high of 29 and a low of 16. So we're still looking forward to very warm temperatures this week and especially tomorrow for the parade as well. It's going to be a nice day out, a nice warm day, especially kick off to the Lloyd X Fair as well. And we will have a broadcast of the parade tomorrow at 10.
Yes, and so you can stay in and stay cool.
Yes.
Have a good evening tonight. Thank you.